1, 2, 3, 4, let's go.
It's Heartbeat.
It's a fabulous show.
Alaska.
Hi, Heartbeat Alaska.
It's Heartbeat. Alaska.
Pull up a chair and enjoy the show.
Hear it from Sitka to Barrow. Gather around for Jeannie's show. It's the Iliamna, the Indian and the Eskimo. It's the Iliamna, the Indian and the Eskimo.
Welcome one, welcome all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska Native News and Native Information. I'm Jeannie Green. Thank you for joining us. On today's program, we take a look back. We journey through the year 2003 and visit some of the programs that we aired for you. We go from the top of the world to Southeast Alaska. Let's travel now back in time to Golovin, Alaska, an Inupiat community in Alaska's northwest.
O'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It was a day of rain that just wouldn't quit. But that didn't matter to the local people, because neither would they.
No, they're going to race. They'll run with the girls.
Regardless of the weather, the people of Golovin are going to celebrate the 4th of July. It's a gathering that they've been waiting for all year. From the surrounding villages of White Mountain and Elam, people from all over have made the trek to Golovin for their 4th of July celebration. Although the adults of Golovin claim that the 4th is a time for the kids to enjoy themselves, it was pretty obvious that they too were having a great time. The celebration continued through the next day as those who came for the 4th of July spent the day at Nuz Doyle's fish camp, honoring a woman who had given so much to her people. And for those kids who didn't get rid of all their energy yesterday, there were races to run. This young man competed in just about every race there was.
Go, 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 go.
Some spent their time swimming in the shallow waters of Golovin Bay, while others preferred a rod and reel to swim trunks. It didn't matter what your preference was. There were tons of fun and native foods to be enjoyed at this reunion.
Eat while you cut.
It's like one large family here, you know. It's small enough and unique that you come into Golovin and, you know, you're treated like family, and, you know, everybody greets you, and that's what it is. It's got that small community atmosphere, making it a family. And that's what makes Golovin unique in that manner, is that it's small, and that, you know, it's just one big family.
As for this family, with the turnout of people who came from as far away as they did, well, this family couldn't be happier, especially Nuz.
I thought it was so nice for them to come here to honor my mother. I know she's up there looking down, and I could just see her smiling.
lots of calls on the Bethel Elder story. Do you remember our visit to the Eddie Hoffman Senior Center? We spent the day running around, yes, literally running around Bethel with the fine elders of this Yupik community. But more than that, we learned about a great man who spent much of his life fighting for what he believed in, the Yupik and Chupik people.
You four people and sitting up there, you think you know it all. Point of order, my eye. You don't say that to me.
He was born and raised in this area, became a advocate for Native people in the region. He was not bashful to bawl out anybody when it came to trying to get things corrected or done right the first time on problems for people in Alaska, particularly rural Alaska.
I'm not finished with you yet. Yeah, I'm not finished with you. I see you gave a few remarks a little while ago, which you should have kept your mouth shut.
He was known for the finger, which is pointing at whomever was on his hot seat of being straightened out. Those are his terms, too, straighten out.
His name was Eddie Hoffman, the traditional chief of Bethel. But to the people of the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, he will always be remembered as a fighter, a man who often went to battle for the native people of the region and the native people of Alaska. He was the kind of man who knew right from wrong and was never afraid to take a stand for what he believed in. Today, Eddie Hoffman is remembered on a daily basis by the people who come to the Eddie Hoffman Senior Center to enjoy a hot meal and the companionship of others.
This is the favorite of the people. Praise for his good, praise to our God to sing. For it is pleasant to praise, it is a compliment.
And although this may be the people's favorite song, the elders' favorite time of the day seems to be the trips to the post office and stores.
Okay, here we go.
Not only do they spend time doing activities and socializing, but the center also provides transportation around town so that these elders can get some of their chores done. From the post office, it's off to the grocery store for a little grocery gallivanting. From Yupik country, we travel to the Athabascan village of Ilyamna. Ilyamna, a village that has been faced with many challenges that they're working to overcome. Let's visit Ilyamna. A traditional Athabascan village in the interior of Alaska. Ilyamna sits on the shore of Lake Ilyamna, which is over 75 miles long and boasts of excellent fishing and sights to please the eyes and ease the mind. Ilyamna officially became a village in 1923 and has been fully recognized as a tribe since 1972. The lands surrounding the town are rife with wildlife and vegetation that the natives of the area have traditionally relied upon to support their way of life. Remember 7-year-old Cierra Nikolai, who was hesitant about jumping in the water? It took nearly the whole show, but she finally gathered the courage to do it. Or perhaps you'll recall our young rapper from the neighboring village of Newhalen, Sonny Lamont.
When things go wrong, and it sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the depths are high, you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. Don't quit. Hey, yo. When things go wrong, and it sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the depths are high, you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. Heartbeat Alaska will be right back.
From Ilyamna, we travel to southeast Alaska, to Yakutat, Alaska, where we learn about a fish train. It is home to the glaciers. It is home to the brown bear. It is home to the otter. It is home to the eagle and to the raven. It is a paradise that has always been home to the Tlingit people of Yauktat. In 1904, a sawmill was built, which produced enough lumber to construct a wharf and cannery on Yakutat's Monty Bay, and enough railroad ties to lay 10 miles of 40-pound rail from Yakutat to the Sitka River. For the next 60 years, fish would be hauled from the Sitka River to the cannery in Yakutat via the Yakutat and Southern Railroad, the world's only train devoted to hauling raw fish. The fish train, as it became fondly known as, would transport fishermen and workers to the Sitka River on a daily basis and ran on a truly unique schedule that was dependent upon the tides, because the fishing boats could only unload their fish at high tide. When the train arrived at Sitka River, the fish were unloaded from the boats and dumped into the gondola cars by a conveyor belt. Since the railroad was designed for the sole purpose of hauling fish, the train only operated during fishing season. But in 1940, the train would serve a different purpose, one that would once again change the face of Yakutat. While in southeast Alaska, we were blessed by the people of Sitka, who not only opened their arms to us, but also opened the doors to their past, a past that is as rich in history as the area is in natural resources. For the Tlingit people of Sitka, the late 18th century was the beginning of the end, an end to the peaceful way of life they had known forever. Take way History says that Sitka was discovered by the Russian Vitus-Bering expedition in 1741, but the many faces of Shiatica say otherwise. For over 10,000 years, the Tlingit people of southeast Alaska have lived from the land and waters, respecting the animals, respecting each other. In 1799, manager for the Russian-American company Alexander Baranov seized the opportunity to harvest an abundance of sea otter pelts whose furs brought a high price on the market, and established a settlement in the area, naming it New Archangel. A fort known as Baranov's Castle and the St. Michael's Redoubt trading post were built, thus beginning the years of fur trade amongst many nations. Disagreements between the natives and Russians led to the Tlingit people burning down the fort and looting the warehouse in 1802. 2 years later, the Russians retaliated by destroying the Tlingit fort in the historic Battle of Sitka. This would be the last major stand by the Tlingit people against the Russians, with the Tlingits evacuating the area for the next 20 years.
And right here, our Indian school was here. Right here is where we had the sawdust pit.
While we were in Sitka, local elder Duck Didrickson took us on a walk through his past.
Where this building is here, the Sitka Pioneers Home Garage, was the meeting house, what we called the meeting house. This is what my grandfather built in the 1800s, called the Herring House. This is where I was born, 203 Back Street, 1933. The old days, over 60 years ago, I'd walk out of this house. We had a little bell, about 12 inches long. I'd go down the Indian Trail ringing that bell, yelling out, "Meeting tonight." We'd have to go to the meeting house for a meeting. It's usually on Mondays.
How many of you remember our visit to the Inupiat village of Wainwright, the town of sounds? Some people say that a giant salamander fell from the sky, landing so hard that it formed Wainwright Inlet in the reptilian-shaped Cook River. Of course, that is merely a fable that makes the elders of the area chuckle when they hear it. But you do have to admit, it does kind of look like a giant salamander. Regardless of what the area looks like, Wainwright sounds completely different. When the wind is calm, you can hear birds chirping and children playing. But when the wind is blowing, Wainwright becomes the town of sound. Located on the coast of the Chukchi Sea, southwest of Barrow, lies the community of Wainwright, Alaska, a traditional Inupiat community that is home for almost 600 people who still practice the ways of their ancestors, living a subsistence lifestyle. From the sea, they take their bowhead whales, walrus, and spotted seal. From the land comes the caribou, wolverine, ducks, and geese, bear, greens, and berries that make up the Inupiat diet. Western culture has influenced a portion of their way of life, such as dog sled being replaced by snow machine, or the outboard motor replacing paddles. But these changes from the old ways are mere tools to make their subsistence lifestyle easier and quicker. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Heartbeat Alaska Native News and Native Information. I hope the year 2004 brings you prosperity and good health. And may God bless every single one of you. I'll see you again next week.
To purchase a VHS copy of this program, have your credit card number ready and call area code 907-563-7440 or mail $20 check or money order to Jeannie Green Productions, 6216 Old Seward Highway, Anchorage, Alaska 99518. Ask for the program number listed below.
I just wanted to show you some of our regalia that belongs to our clan. If you look here, this clan hat is over 300 years old. It's been carbon dated, and only the leader is allowed to wear this hat at special functions in Tlingit culture. Also, our grandchildren, our clan grandchildren, are allowed to wear this hat. And what you see on the hat itself is the coho. This is the silver salmon head. These are copper that was inlaid, and then the abalone, and then the operculum shell, which is the snail's foot. And this is very old. It comes from the Dry Bay area. The potlatch rings and the winter ermine at the top. And the hair in the back, you see, from what it was told to me, to put a value on such clan items, they used to sacrifice their slaves long ago. And Cecilia Coons, who's one of our clan mothers of the Coho clan, she told us, and it's been confirmed by other elders, that 8 slaves were killed to put a price, a value on this clan hat. And the robe that you see behind it is moose hide, and the robe itself goes with the hat. Only the leader is allowed to wear this. And it depicts the raven and the silver salmon on the borders. And you can see there's holes in it. From what I was told, these little holes that you see here were musket bullet holes from when we fought the Russians. So this robe itself has a lot of history. We have a lot of old pictures that are probably around 100 years old that show this robe hanging in memorial photos along with the hat.
Tutank